Hey Technofreaks, Techno here, back with another part of the custom guides for Mortal Kombat 11 Ultimate. This time we take a look at the characters from Mortal Kombat 2. Now what I mean by this is characters who have made their playable debuts in Mortal Kombat 2. So let's begin with the second Shaolin to the defense of Earthrealm, Kung Lao. Now Kung Lao has that scorpion problem. A jack ton of his moves are two slotters or already together. Lotus Fist is his most common variation because Orbiting Hat is a great tool for that safety check at the cost of resource. Hat Trick is no slouch either, allowing for a less telegraphed teleport, and frickin' Z-Hat, one of his strongest moves in the game. Then there is Order of Light, with Spiritual Guidance, one of my personal favourite abilities for Lao. Not only do you have a free extender for the most part, you also have a powerful, yet somewhat unsafe, zone game. It's just a shame Vortex lets it down. I mean sure, Vortex is an okay move, but his normal spin is way better. So when you want to build your variation, keep that in mind. His OG spin is a must. Now onto building, and another great tool is Buzzsaw. It's a 2-slot mid-hitting projectile that you control wherever you want it to fire. And if you want to play those mind games, you can burn some meter and hold it down in one place, like an angry guard dog looking at some juicy Australian blood sauce. Sadly, this move can't go with Z-Hat as they share the same input, so you will need another option to go with. Luckily though, this move syncs nicely with Teleport, and in turn, Teleport. Who cares if Teleport is predictable? The Saw will travel the same time as the Hat, so it's easy money. Well, not really easy money, but if they have grown to respect the Saw, they will definitely get the call. Man Grab. Okay, yeah, I know I was really bad. Please don't leave me, please. But let's not kid ourselves, we all know Z-Hat is a must. It's literally the best move he has, being able to make players terrified to not block it. Then you can cancel the damn thing and get a cheeky throw or apply pressure when they expect said bastard toss. But what if I told you that there's already a move we've talked about that works a little too well with Z-Hat? Ladies, gentlemen, and non-binary friendos, I give you the Chosen One's mate, Spiritual Guidance, and Z-Hat. Yes, this is a thing of beauty. You have everything you ever wanted. The best spin, the Z-Hat, alongside a decent zoning game with more extensions than a Geordie lass on a night on the toon. Seriously, these two work so well. You use Z-Hat for that conditioning. Then, when they are expecting another Z-Hat, you use Spirit Stance Cancel to get in quicker with that throw pressure. Then zone-wise, you have your normal hat for long ranges, the Stance Projectile for mid, and Z-Hat for the closer ranges, not to mention 2 strong anti-airs and a spacing tool. Honestly, if Kung Lao had been using this from the get-go, Liu Kang would be the Chosen One's mate. Next we have Kitana, and this princess has had it rough. Her father was killed, her stepfather is an ass, her mother was dead but now is alive and also evil, her estranged sister killed her throne guys, and half of her interesting moves have lost some of their combo potential. Looking at you, Upfan and Undead Razor. That doesn't mean she sucks, no, I think all 3 of her rank variations are decent, but they just lack that little something. Fanfare is probably her best variation because it's the simple, classic katana. Butt Slam, Reflectability, alongside Fan Flutter, a hidden little gem in the right hands that aren't mine. Fearless also has some great moves and some dangerous potential, but could still be better to be honest. It's another spin versus vortex situation where the former is the better and you don't know why you would even take the second outside of wanting to get the shaft. It's Highborn that sadly has some disastrous choices. The brilliant Half-Blood stance is 2 slots, so it's always going to be a lot harder to build around this. And then they nerfed the complementary move she was given. Build-wise, we have a few options, but I want to highlight one that fixes Highborn's issues. By replacing Edenian Razor with Low Phantos, you completely fix her biggest issues. Now this variation was actually Sonic Fox's variation when they were testing things out, but it just makes sense. You have some strong zoning potential anyway with the normal fans and the side toss from the stance, and now we are adding a low and regaining her combo potential with the normal fan lifts. Not to mention, if you connect 3 sides, you have now loaded up a crushing blow that pops the opponent up 4 or to extend your combos. And when you think about that, you can get a 43% meterless combo mid-screen, you know it's a good choice. Moving on, and once again, Jax is another character with some great variations that could just be that little bit better. Grin Barrett has a great overhead launcher in the guise of Ripped, and that buffing parry feeds him a good amount of heat for some extra damage and projectiles of his own. Shame it can only parry 1 projectile at a time, but in fairness, if it could do any more, something like Cassie's amped Pew Pew would probably give him more heat than a WWE star on Twitch. It's just duck and weave that lets it down, with that little delay that can ruin combos, and the fact that it can be easily read and interrupted with its options. Plus, let's be honest, you already have Ripped, why do you need this? Hunker Down is probably the more common variation because, well, yeah. But it also has an awesome command grab that, with perfect timing, has a crushing blow that can make the one move almost on par with some optimized combos, with less of the effort needed to be put in. It's pure grapple mayhem. Sadly, the variation is let down by the hardly used Burning Hammer, which, yeah, as an anti-air, it's okay. It does damage, and it's amped for more damage, but the thing switches sides, and then there's the fact that he has one of the fastest air-to-air options anyway, so it's kind of redundant. It's the same thing with Ringer here as well. Clap breaks armor and is a decent extender in the corner, but you lose the gotcha grab, and the boost to the ground pound is okay, but its saving grace is having one of his best strings in the game in Enhanced Outranked. As you can see though, there is some glaring faults in all of these builds. So what we're going to do is we're going to take Hunker Down, because it's the more stronger build he has, remove that Burning Hammer, and replace it with Enhanced Outranked, because this setup syncs up just so well. Not only do you have the best ways to generate your heat with Expert Grappler and Enhanced Outranked, but Outranked's 3rd and 5th hits allow for tick throws with Quad Grab, giving you an all-around grapple machine. Not to mention now, Outranked itself has at least 5 different options to work with. Alongside everything else you already have, you've got a build that literally screams, here comes the pain. Now Mileena is going to be that wee bit more difficult since, well, she's just been released within a week of this recording, and people haven't really made the most out of her rank variations yet to get the ball rolling. I just realised what I said. But so far I've come across some common traits with my opponent that I can kind of get a good build out of it. Now, Tooth and Claw is kind of the classic Mileena, utilising a low psi with Earth Size and the Teledrop. The low size have that low profile and a crushing blow that complements said low profile, while Earth Size have that boon of having this hop advantage, so you can have a slower but more reliable high projectile alongside that low projectile you already have if needed, and then Airdrop gives you your teleport in the air. What's not to like? Twisted Sister is more up my alley with an armor breaking command grab that gives you crushing blows for breaking said armor, alongside a grapple ability that changes the properties of her normal strings. Normally the overhead on her forward 4-3 ends in a hard knockdown, but with this playtime ability it just becomes an overhead continuation that can be cancelled either into her grab finisher from that string, or better yet, a special. Now Kahn Dash kind of lets us down here. Sure, there isn't anything relatively wrong with it. It adds a nice low to the mix-up of a forward 4-3 string, it can be cancelled, and can deal some decent damage if you're willing to burn all that meter. Unfortunately though, you will lose your best extender in the roll. Her final variation, Savage Instinct, is a mash of gimmicks. Sliding Sigh is a decent move that adds some keep away tools, and the Amplified Sigh has a counter crushing blow that can be used to start a combo with. Rolling Thunder is sort of an upgrade to the normal roll. If you hold the button, you will just do the roll normally, but if you release the button, the roll will bounce into the air. This can kind of hit jumping opponents easier, and if you do this, the move becomes a double hit, which can be a bit of a nuisance to counter if you haven't come across it before. Sadly, the Vanish appears relatively useless. The move takes so long to do and recover from that no matter how you set it up, you will always be negative and be on the defense. This wouldn't be too bad, but Mileena will reappear if she is touched at all. This means if hit or if blocked, so you don't have much chances to really use it effectively. Honestly, I feel we have some perfect options, and they all start with playtime. Those grapple combos bring out some ferocity in her play. Then you can go with either Sliding Sigh for the ranged pressure and Stabby Scotch for the armor breaky goodness. But we ain't done there. Rolling Thunder is also a great option, and low size crushing blow trade can give you the edge. But all must come from playtime. Seriously, don't neglect your playtime. That sounded way better in my head. Baraka again suffers from the 2-slot plague, and while his tournament variations are pretty well built, I'm not going to bother going into them because we all know that there's only one setup that you just can't miss out on. That's the beta meta, Gutted and Spine Burst. Gutted is your go-to extension tool. Does decent damage, applies bleed throughout, and if you rack up enough hits, boom, a savage crushing blow. Spine Burst is another lethal extender, this time in the corner, allowing for meterless combos, and it syncs so well with Gutted. I'm not joking, this was literally everyone's go-to variation for Baraka during the beta. It's not as strong as it was back then, but it still packs a punch, and if you think about it, there was a reason they didn't put it as a tournament variation, despite its popularity. Finally, we have Shao Kahn. Oh boy. Now, the biggest flaw with Shao Kahn is customs don't really do that much for him. His tournament variations are okay, but they have those really slow moves like the taunt and the priest that are almost impossible to set up, because just like Mileena's Vanish, take forever to recover and you will always have to block. And if they have a really fast get in tool, well, good luck. But then what do? Some of his other attacks need these long buffing and taunting abilities to get their best potential. Well, let's try and tackle this in chunks. First, we could go the route of improving the things he already has. Let's say his Armor Breaker. Scum Grab is a decent armor breaker that switches sides with the opponent and can be amplified for more damage, but he has a better one in Skewer. This also breaks armor and only switches sides with the opponent when you amplify it, but in turn it will pop the opponent up for a combo or extension. And trust me, getting damage and negating a breakaway is one thing, but negating the breakaway and still getting the combo off is even better. Then if we want, we can go with some Wrathhammer moves. The normal Wrathhammer, the Air Wrathhammer, or the Up Wrathhammer, or even better yet, a combo of the lots for a more optimized zoning tool outside of your normal spear toss. But if you really want a buff, Priest and Annihilation work so well. They synergize and get that damaging crushing blow ender. And at least Priest is still the quickest out of the two long-winded buffs. But to be honest, Shao just needs to really be buffed by Netherrealm. He can't do it himself, and he is nowhere near the badass he is supposed to be. Hopefully Netherrealm can improve him so that the Shao Kahn players can feel a bit better in their character. But after this balance patch, I'm kind of not sure what to think. Anyway, that's it for the MK2 log. Hope it gave you some useful nuggets of information. If it did, don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, hit the bell thingy, and follow me on the Twitters. Also, feel free to check out some of my other videos. Who knows, you might find something you like. And finally, tune in next time where we take a look at the cast of UMK3/Mortal Kombat Trilogy. But until that day, this has been Techno Odin. Stay safe, claim skulls, and may the Elder Gods protect you all.